and the dreams that you dare to fade to come true.
Say hi when you come in.
Someday I'll wish upon a star and wake up where the clouds are far behind me, where troubles melt like little drops away above the chimney tops. That's where you find me Bluebirds fly, birds fly over the rainbow. Oh, why can't I? If happy, that's really what it is. That feels like that. Why can't I? That's all I got.
Yes, stage he's fighting right now. And this was the kind of like the female.
Well, this is where we got to have fun.
It was weird, dude. I'm on the wrong side of the stage.
And we're wearing way too many clothes.
Yes.
And shoes. Yes, shoes. How do you sing this in people?
So.
I sit and watch the rain and see the tears running down the rain. I sit and watch the sky and I can hear it breathe a song. I think of you, how we were, and then I think of you. And I remember in his eyes I can see where my heart longs to be. In his eyes I see a gentle. And that's where I'll be safe. Safe in his arms, close to his heart. Walk where the stars looking in his eyes. Tomorrow, I look in his eyes, see the sorrow. Will his eyes reveal to me promises or lies? But he can conceal from me the was before. Now I realize everything we're living for is
She won't let me hold her. All right. Get rid of that. 1 minute. Ouch. And then we will get started. Yeah, I know. You're going to smack those all over the floor. They are not kitty toys. That's for my new scale. Silly. We're getting close. You know, Nick, you could answer the. Oh, there we go. Well, very good. Heck, I would have gone to meet David, but it's 10 o'clock. Calling all stations. Clear the air lanes. Clear all air lanes for the big broadcast. Great movie tonight. The Island of Lost Souls. Charles Lawton in an incredibly evil character and a very disguised Bela Lugosi. A few twists away the story as it was originally written, but it's wow. Oh, I wouldn't miss that one. Well, Nick, it's me and you, and I don't care. I just like having somebody here. Before I begin, I'm getting ready to show everything I bring when I do a chop cup, usually. I really thought about doing this one, but I remembered something from an extremely long time ago when Roy Kissel said, if you're auditioning, make sure it's with something you've been doing for years. I haven't done this once live yet, and there's a whole bunch I got to figure out how to do. So, I mean, it's got my little olives in there and one in here and all that kind of stuff. But no, I went with the routine that I've taught, that I've been doing. I'm getting ready to teach again. But here's what you need to know. Ouch. Ouch. Now, this is a office portfolio. This side is zipped and it's a separate compartment. That's where all the chop cup materials go. This side, and I've got to fold it up and put it away, is the props for the stage show. And what people do not understand, in the carrying case, which this came with, I think you're supposed to put toiletries in here and your clothes and stuff in the case. But I have two Artwell tables in there. Used to have this one in there. But this piece here won't come undone. So it sticks up. And it was tearing the case. So I don't know where this one's going to go. But it's not going in there. But everything in here, Nick, I can do adults, I can do kids, I can do families. There's also a case over there that has 9 linking rings in it. Oh, I should have turned that off. Give me just a second here, Nick. If the if Spark is on, that's my email program. It'll beep the whole time. Now this is my close-up case. Got this from TCC. They're making an even better one now. But I've got the upper thing here, and that's where insurance policies and wallets and stuff are. And as you can see, I have all of these things here. This is actually a TCC leather chop cup. And I have, they keep slipping out of there. I have a whole bunch of dye in there. And I use it for strolling. I shake it. I got the hand. Boy, you can hear that. And I walk around shaking it. And if a table goes, I walk right up and spill it on the table and yell, Yahtzee! Then I look up and say, what? I'm the only one? We didn't have cable when I was a kid. And then I go into the routine. But I also have Fast and Loose. I've got the shell game. I've got these baby cups and balls, which I will be getting rid of. If I was going to do anything with cups and balls, I would do the anytime, anywhere, any place cup and ball routine. And that's that's my entire third set now. If I got to go back out one more time, I strap that on and I'm going to do a miracle because they've seen miracles. And I've got color changing knives, and here's the P's for the cups and all, and I've got bunnies and, like I said, color changing knives and all of that. Oh, wait a minute, Nick. I want to show you something, but I have to apologize. Anyone will tell you, by all means, ask David. I sort of kind of have a thing for wallets because I've always been hunting. And the fact of the matter is, there's only 2. One is the Patrick Page card to wallet, and that's what I use for stage. And then you've got the Tom Mullica wallet, which I use for strolling. And I have an original because the new ones are a little narrow to be using with bicycle poker size cards. And you can split. Nick, I wish to high heaven I could tell you where I got this one. Tell you what the name is. Now, I haven't put it all together yet, but there'll be some credit cards on this side, and there'll be some folded money or ID or something on this side. In fact, that's why I must have knocked it down. Got an extra ID over there to go in here. And you can see it's got the zipper. Well, this, I thought it was something else, and actually it is. Okay. Right here, that's the camouflage for the Patrick Page idea. But I don't have the inner wallet. But if I bring a card to the top of the deck and say, put these back in the box, I've just put the card here. And when I open the wallet, I just put the card in here. So I can do no palming, or I can put it up here and do palming. So it's both. No idea who made it. Would have to be something from England. And it's smaller too. It's not big. But the point is, ouch, you get down there. These two, the tables go in and the stands. Then these two cases go in, and then the rings go on top, and that's it. And I can do anything I'm asked to do. And more important, listen carefully. Christmas time, when we all work the most. Oh, thank you, Nick. You can get to a place and they're not ready for you. And you can't wait an hour. You've got another place to go to. So sometimes I get to a place and I tell them, no. You don't need a stage show. You need me to go table to table. And I got the act right there. But sometimes I'm supposed to go table to table and they're not ready. And I say, oh, no, look at the crowd. You need a stage show. And I got that right there. So I can punt any way I have to punt. Now, excuse me, I got a pee-pee. But I'm going to show you the audition. Wonder. Well, I thought it was. Ouch. Gotta go pee. Okay, oh, there it is. Ouch. Yeah, I've got two of these VA IDs, and one's going to go in there. Now, as you can see, I've told you this house isn't level. This whole thing is doing that. And for the audition, I put some cards and cardboard under there. Now, why do I have what I have? Every single cup and ball set, chop cup set today is made to hold a tennis ball. That is an error. Now, I had one. I cleaned everything up for the audition. So, but I had a tennis ball to show you. My suggestion is to get one and see for yourself. But the truth is, if you can't palm it, don't load it. I don't care what they say. I don't care what the books say. Everybody talks about Gazoo. Oh, the great Gazoo. Yeah, I've seen him. He's on YouTube. Watch him load the oranges. To me, it was very obvious. You got this great big pouch in front of you, which if you want one of those, they're like 300 and up. And you can see that the cup clearly goes in to the top of the pouch. Not a lot, but it's there. So he can throw the oranges in there. Obvious to me. Or I see people do this. One of the big problems in magic that people need to wake up to, they don't have to know what you did. They just have to know when you did it. So, even though this is big enough for a tennis ball, you can see this is really a pain because it is so deep, everything just rolls right off. Let me see if I can see down here what I used. Ouch. Come here. Ouch. I know that was stupid. Okay. Is that better? Or does it have to go up? Yeah, okay. At least it's standing still now. I went to Penguin and I got these monkey fist balls. Now they have two types. One is like a 4 or 5 set, so you can do a combo cup and ball routine. Those are tiny. But I got the 2 for the chop cup, and they're made out of nylon rope, and it's a certain kind of a wrap. And you get 2. You get one that's gimmick and one that's not. And then you can get matching load balls. What's the difference? Because this load ball can be palmed, and I can palm it with a Chavez technique. In Chavez, when you learn the billiard balls, one of the big things is rather than trying to, you see, to stand out here, that's a nice transitory position. But coming here, all I'm doing is pushing the ball into my body. But my hands are wide open. I can snap my fingers. I can point and steal it off of there. All of my Chavez moves work with these. I got 2. Now, what isn't here, because it rolled off on the floor, I also have a globe. All I need, 1 gimmick, 1 knot, 2 load balls, and the globe. If I'm doing a Christian performance, if I'm doing gospel, something like that, I don't load these, I load the globe. Although I'm thinking about loading these and then load the globe and go into John 3:13. So, yeah. Anyway, the 2 load balls, front pockets, 1 left, 1 right. This ball, ungimmicked, in the cup there, mouth up, gimmick ball in the pocket. That is all the setup I need to do. I don't need to wear a sport jacket, don't need to wear a cut tux. Most cases, I'm wearing what looks like bowling shirts. They're not. They're actually an industrial shirt that people would wear, when an oil, well, not an oil change place because you get dirty. But, things like that, because I can get them in red and black. And red and black were the show colors of my mentor, Don Viana. Now, we were all on Zoom. There were over 100 of us in the big room. And then they moved like 10 of us into a smaller room. And in the center of the Zoom meeting was what they called the producer. This was the lady that was going to watch the acts and make their assessments. First group was a singing group. And then she called my name. And I got up and I came over. And I said, okay. I said, now you're going to have to be the representative of all the people in the room. She said, oh, I'm a part of this. Absolutely. All I need is your observational skills. You can see, I just have a big cup. Wish you were feeling that, Nick. This is solid copper. It ain't cheap anymore. I have one just like this, but it's aluminum. And I much prefer this. Good heavens. That's heavy, which means you don't have to go boom when the time comes. You'll see. Put them in here. If you listen, you can hear that it's in there, and I've done nothing sneaky. The trick is I take the cup, and I put the cup on the table. I take the ball, and I put the ball in my pocket. You have to guess whether the ball is underneath the cup or in the pocket. Just switched them. We'll do it again. Cup, ball. Listen. Now, we put the cup on the table. Let me stop and go back. I stood in front of a mirror for many long nights, taking a ball, putting it in my fist, and examining how that fist looked when I did that. So that even though there's nothing in there, it sure looks like it. And you have to remember, you have to guess whether the ball is under the cup or whether the ball is in my pocket. She said pocket. I said right, because there's nothing under the cup, right? And she said right. And I said, hang on, wrong. She freaked. I said, don't worry, I'll do it again. Ball in the cup. You can hear it. Cup on the table. Ball in the pocket. Is the ball under the cup? Is the ball in the pocket? She said, under the cup. I said, no, you got to pay attention. The ball is in the pocket. Got it? Okay, let's try it one more time. Honest to God, Nick. No screams, no gasps. But she leaned in, and I don't think she blinked again. Pay attention, Nick. This is all mine. What's coming? Ball goes in. This time, I won't take the ball. I'll turn the cup over, slide everything on the table, act like a blackjack dealer when they're leaving the table, Nick. Nothing in my hands. In fact, I'll put both hands in my pockets. Nick, my left hand just palmed the load ball. My right hand has the ball. Actually, I did that a little early. I'll show you in a second. Now, you have to guess where the ball is. She starts to talk. Hold it. You know by now it depends. The ball is supposed to be in the cup. But if you pick the cup, it's not there. It's over here in the pocket. But if you say the ball is in the pocket, it won't. Now, I just took the load ball out of the pocket, and you can't see it because the table's kind of in the way. But I've got my hand like this on the leg, meaning the ball's there, but my hand's wide open. If you said pocket, now, when I lift that up, I'm going to move. I actually sort of toss the ball into this hand. I come up, palm down towards the floor, can't see anything, and I just sideways, not this way because they could catch a flash. So or just put your hand beneath the table a little bit. Don't do that. They could see the red. Just toss it, and I let it roll in as I shrug my shoulders. Now, put it down. Put this ball away. Gesture. You got to know how this is done. Second load ball is out against the leg, hand open, wiggling your fingers. Well, I used 2 balls. Yeah, I used 2 balls. Well, I do. Look, that's ball number 1. Now, I almost dropped this because I'm looking at the video, and I should pay attention to what I'm doing. Oh, come here. Fortunately, none of those things happened at the rehearsal. But I said 2 balls. This is only ball number 1. Yeah, see, this thing has tipped back down. This is ball number 2. And you know what's weird? They don't fit in the cup. Nick, my hand to the Lord. All the producer did was this. It was like it was lost in space, and the robot was saying, it does not compute. It does not compute. If you absolutely have to use something large, tennis ball, baseball, if you've got some of the bigger cups, then you get this from TCC. if you're ever doing one of those, you get to sit down and everybody comes to watch close-up shows, this is great. But the truth is, I've never done one of those for money. This has all sorts of pockets on this side. I'll bring it over in a minute. And you can take your load balls and just drop them in the servant in the back. And because it's hanging down, they wouldn't see you. I need this because when I do the shaker cup, I fill a shot glass full of liquid and I pick it up to drink it, and then I change my mind and it's gone because it's down in there. But see, a servant, the cup really doesn't leave the edge of the table. But you didn't see it go up in there, and it could be a tennis ball or baseball or any damn thing you want. Now, always remember to put the balls back, or you'll get to a show and you will notice that you do not have the gimmick ball. And that makes for a difficult set. Hopefully I can do this. Not knock everything off. Okay, but now let me bring this a little closer for you. I can't see. Hang on, maybe. Yeah, that works a little better. See, that's the servant part, and you can see all this stuff up here. Nick, I agree. It is obvious. I just did it without any of them. I just was reasonable about what you can palm. When I finished that, I came around and I said, Miss, that's the trick. Now, they told us no one was going to give you any feedback. No one was going to say whether it was good or whether it was bad. We got two people in here and somebody's being quiet. That's what was supposed to happen. When I said, man, the trick is over, Miss, the trick is over. Oh, it's like she got startled. Oh, I'm sorry. Wow, that was amazing. And now I'm waiting. Did I get it? I don't know. Will I get it? I don't know. However, what needs to be remembered, and I think it was Michael Jordan. Oh, now we're back to one. Boy, Nick, they sure vanish when I say, hey, you're in here. I haven't made it yet where they have to be registered to come watch, but that is coming. Anyway, Michael Jordan said, and it may not have been him, it may have been another famous basketball star, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. He's right. If I had not auditioned, well, I'm not going to be on America's Got Talent. If I do, the only reason why I'm on is because I auditioned. So you got to do it and take your chances. Okay, any questions about the chop cup, Nick? Yeah, the big heavy chop cup, which is gorgeous, is called a Cosmo Cup over at Rings and Things 2. And it's $200 and maybe even more. Somewhere in here, Nick, when the Lemasters were here helping me sort magic, I've got a Cosmo Cup for you here somewhere, Nick. It's just the aluminum one. But that'll be in your care package when I find it. You'll have to get your own monkey nuts. They're monkey fist. I call them monkey nuts. Okay. Now, the other thing. I posted a link to this, Nick. This is the Card Magic Masterclass by Roberto Goibi, or how you pronounce his last name. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 DVDs in here. DVD 1 is all about controls. DVD 2 is all about switches, switching cards, switching decks. Disc number 3 is false shuffles and false cuts. Disc 4 is palms. More on that in a second. Disc 5 is forces. I don't recommend getting the whole series of Card College books. I did. I do recommend getting the 3 Card College Light because everybody thinks that's an abbreviated Card College, and no, it's not. It's a whole bunch of tricks that do not require sleight of hand. And those 3 you should have. This is going to cost 75 bucks unless you can find it cheaper. I would suggest you get it. Now, I can't do it. I just started with it. But there are some pretty good things in there. He explains what I did about using this finger and pushing with the deck. But he's got a bottom palm. Now, the card is on top, and you have shuffled the cards. You do a double lift and say you can see your card is not on the top of the deck, and it's not. Your card was the ace clubs. Then you say and. Now, I can't do it. I just saw it today. You turn the deck this way and turn it face up. And hang on, what, sweetie? It's okay. Everybody loves the kitty. I know you can't figure out who I'm talking to because we're alone. I've gone crazy. I got into the catnip. Yes, sweetie, in a little bit. You actually, when you turn this to this position, you bottom palm the top card. And then you put the whole deck on the table and tell them to go ahead and shuffle or do whatever they want. You can spread them out, and they're never going to see the palm. And there's about 10 palms on that other DVD. But I know it's 75 bucks. Most of us anymore are not going to sit down with a book, follow along, put your second baby. No. Be much better off. You take the 75, you get that. I may very well send the Card College books to David, although I don't think his market is going to want to buy those books. But the DVDs, oh yeah. The other thing I found, this is the Bob Sheets, The Killer Kitston Miracle. And then on the bottom it says a routine for Patrick Page's 3-card monte. And us, if we read the back, we know that he, Mr. Sheets, liberally borrowed from Patrick Page. Because it says right here, you're doing walkarounds surrounded at a corporate function, and everyone has a gooey spare rib in one hand and a drink in the other. You don't have a table to set anything down on, and you don't want them touching anything, and you still want to be effective. Gee, where have we heard that before? But the nice thing is, you get a DVD showing you all the moves, and you get the gimmicked cards. And you've got 3 sevens, Okay, and it's okay, it's here. Or, and I see, I'm trying to do this, but it's a pain because I can't do it up here. But you get this set has 3 red sevens and a black king, and they cannot find the king. So you have to look it up. I am sure it is somewhere. In the old days, you could get a VHS tape of Patrick Page doing it. Also came with the card. I got to talk to his daughter. Say, hey, you ought to put that back on the market. But now, let's remember before I show you this, you need to have your lotion for this. It makes life. I haven't opened this up in a while. There is a ball applicator on top. You take that off, fill it up from the big bottle, screw it back on, and now instead of making a mess, just like Ban in the old days, you rub it on and rub it in. Let it dry. Okay, buddy, it's just us. So let's get serious here. I still believe if we're in that Patrick Page situation that I just described again, or if they're in the audience and I'm on stage, when I did that wonderful party the other night, I did the insurance policy. If America's Got Talent says yes, I'm pretty damn sure I'm going to do the insurance policy on network television. So, peripheral force is the only one for that. Now, yes, and I've explained this before, the crisscross force, I always call it the cut force, where the spectator cuts the cards and you put a set on crosswise. Statistics and things say that's the most fooling. But you may not have a table to put the cards down. And I personally feel, and I'm going to stand up, that the bottom deal is the best force for one-on-one. I know people like doing the just pick a card. Like I said, I saw Blackstone mess that up 4 times in a row. And that's when I came up with this one. But if it's intimate, you got to step back to do this. That's fine if your spectators here, but everybody else is in the audience. That's a great one. Now, why do people give up on learning how to bottom deal? It's easy, Nick. They try to bottom deal with a whole deck. No professional bottom dealer starts there. It's always done after the first draw because now, oh God darn it. Ouch. Come here. Ow. Missed the whole damn table. Then I gotta get down here. Get this stuff up. Okay, ouch. And then when I went down to catch it as it was falling, I just bashed the crap out of my right knuckle and finger. That middle one is still huge, though. That's from the old days, doing all that karate and stuff. Okay, anyway. They start with smaller cards in the hand. As I've said before, this is the mechanic's grip. there's a space between those two fingers, and it's important. One, if I'm going to second deal, and the only reason why the double lift got invented was because magicians were too lazy to learn the second deal. But if all I have to do, if I come up here just like that, this hand can bump that card out of the way. Now, I was afraid of that. I didn't get enough on my thumb. Okay. So when I bump that, all I do is hit the card underneath it. And even though I'm not using a B deck, and border decks make cheating much harder, but I don't move that till my hand is here. When my hand is here, it's done. Now, because I'm like this, you can see that happen. But the average person would not. And they come right out. A bottom deal, you push this card over for camouflage. And then when you come in, this finger hits the bottom card, thumb pushes down, you move them so they line up. Then I take the deck away from the card. That was the bottom card. Ouch. I'm up here. I put the card here and I say, put your hand out like that. And then I come back. And I just take the bottom card. And if you've got lotion where it's supposed to be, you're here, put your hand like that, you come back, and there's the bottom card. What do I do to get there? I shuffle their card to the bottom. Two of clubs is the card. I say, okay, very slowly, in front of everybody, burn my hands. Don't look away. I am going to slowly start dropping cards like this. Anytime you want, just say stop. Now, they're going to stop you around here. See how small the packet is? That your decision? Okay. I push this out like you're going to get this card. Put your hand out like that. As they're doing it, people are looking over there. What you're going to do is come up. Now listen. Don't pull from the bottom. Turn the top hand away. When timed, it looks like that. They're never going to catch it. They're never going to see it. And under watchful eyes, intimately, I got to force a card. That's how I do it. Any questions? La, 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 la. Well, I'm waiting to see. I'm going to hope, Nick, get the lotion like I said. Hang on. Really important story, Nick. It's going to seem like it's not, but man, does it apply to all this magic stuff. I was on Facebook this morning doing Facebook stuff, and I saw an ad for those Emerald Forever pans. I have a set. I wanted to look to see if they have they've got a sauce pot. That's about 2.5 quarts. But I wanted them to have something a little bit bigger. They've got a great big one. They got a little tiny one. I wanted something in the middle. Got to do this, buddy. I'm sorry. But I can't. Oh, my. Sorry, coming back. Anyway, I'm looking, and all of the people on Facebook are reviewing the pans. And 90% of the reviews are 5 stars and they're wonderful. One guy, 1 star or none, is screaming how lousy the pans are. They're not nonstick. I'm scrubbing all the time, and on and on and on. Well, because that has not been my experience for the most part, I went, there's only a couple of things this clown did, and it's operator error. So I said, sir, let me ask you a couple of questions because it's not the pan's fault. First, did you season the pans when they arrived? The instructions say wash with soap and water, let it dry, put it on the stove, get them hot, use a swash to put oil all over the pan, let it dry and wipe it down, just like we do on a barbecue grill. You have to prepare the pans. Did you do that? And of course, he didn't answer. He just yelled about other stuff. And I said, or, since you don't want to answer that question, did you ever put them in the dishwasher? I know it says you can, but if you do that, you've got to season them again. You understand that, right? Still nothing. And then the big one. Did you ever use non-stick spray? Because that's the quickest way to make your pans not work. That gets into the little microscopic holes and clogs them up, and then your pans are no longer non-stick. But I'd bet a lot of money that's what you did. And of course, he wasn't going to say, yeah, I'm a screw up. Why did I tell you that story? Because this stuff is the same way. Why do you call me Lord and not do the things I say? If things aren't working for you. So let's get to this. The big thing, we've talked about this before, you have to touch them. It's not about fooling them. Well, February, your audience of choice is going to be Cub Scout groups. That is when they have their blue and golds. That is when they give out their awards, and then they want to have some fun. I don't give a crap how touching you want your show to be. Those Cub Scouts are going to try and eat you alive. In their mind, it is nothing to do with emotional. You're trying to trick us. We're going to bust you. Now, there are interesting philosophies how to handle that. My mentor, Don Viano, to him it was easy. Every single trick in his show was a sucker trick. So you think you got me? Look, no, you don't. Now, personally, I think that's overkill, only because I would think after the first 2-3 tricks, they would know how this thing is going to work out. But according to Don, they never did, and I trust Don. So that's one way. I've seen a lot of people now, oh no, you shouldn't sucker them. That makes them feel bad. You need to say, that's what I thought. When I was a boy, I thought the white rabbit was behind but I was fooled. Not you, you poor little snowflakes. I think that whole thing sucks. even though Carroll put it in one of his books to appease these knuckleheads. Avengers, Infinity War, at the end, Tony Stark looks over at Doc, and Doc goes, meaning Doctor Strange had gone through millions of possibilities, and only one defeats Thanos. And that's why Tony Stark had to die. But here, first, if I'm going to do Cub Scouts, P.S., I've already tried this, and it's why I don't do it anymore. I'm doing science, not magic. First words out of my mouth is, I'm not here to trick you. I'm here to show you some cool things with science. I'm going to tell you how everything's done. Yet, and I did one of my science shows. But at the end of the show, I would always have half a dozen Cub Scouts come up. We know how you did that. You had na and the yo and yo. Were you even listening? Guys, yeah, I didn't trick you. It's science. I told you how to do it. You were too busy talking to each other. We caught him. No, you didn't. But I still had to deal with it. And I absolutely hated that. One year, I did a rabbit production. And I always had a towel on my lap and the rabbit on my lap, and the boys and girls could come up and pick the rabbit. About halfway through the line, some little future sociopath grabbed the rabbit, picked it up, shook the heck. See, it's not real. Grabbed his wrist, slammed it up his back, put my boot in his butt, and shoved him halfway across the gym. Of course, he went and got mom. He comes back with mom, and I said, ma'am, ask any of these children. Your future sociopath grabbed that innocent bunny, lifted it up, and shook the heck out of it. Could have very well killed him. And I say sociopath because little kids who torture animals grow up to be serial killers. Oh, she was mad. And I'm thinking, they are never going to call me back. All the other kids, he's like that. I don't know why he came up. And they're petting the rabbit and having a great time. The rabbit's going, ah! But I said, nope, that's it. No more live animals. And then it hit me, Nick. Let's see. Obviously, no matter what we say, it is a challenge act. No, you're supposed to touch them, not fool them. Horse crap. I did science showing this is a chemical reaction, showing this is a physics principle. We know how you did that. You had a magnet or whatever. They're not going to follow along. They are there to bust you, period. So, what did I come up with? Well, the most famous magician in the world ever who said, go ahead and try, was Houdini. And I said, because Don taught me the whole act, you can see it on YouTube. Ropes, chains, handcuffs, the straitjacket, and the major challenge. You got to do a few things. This won't be a cheap act, Nick. But if you do 10 Cub Scout groups next February, that's easily $2,000, maybe more. It's worth everything. What do you need? You need to learn an in again, out again rope tie. The one in Mark Wilson, where you sit in the chair, is as good as anything else. 2, we've already spoken of this, you need a really good Siberian chain. 3, you're going to need about 5, 6 pairs of handcuffs. And they all got to look different. But, and I can make a list if I thought people wanted this, Nick. They all lock the same way. They all have a bow that has the teeth on it. And inside the thing, there's another set of teeth that this clicks into, and it can only go one way. It can't go that way. And you want them all to look different. And you just buy them from different parts of the world. There's Handcuff Warehouse. You can get anything. And I get things in there. There's things like the Hamburg 8s that are gimmicked, but you never put those on somebody anyway. Thumb cuffs, same way. You can get high security handcuffs. Now, high security, when you look inside, it's not one piece, it's 3 separate ones. So reaching in there to shim, and that's all you're going to do to get out of the handcuffs, it doesn't work because you can't get all 3. Unless you take a little drop of epoxy and you put it in there. So now all 3 move as one. What do we care? Straight jacket, I am going to suggest you do not get an Abbott's, and those are like $4.50. So you're going to have to pay a lot of money anyway. realstraightjackets.com. I will put that on in the forum in a minute. Have it custom made. Call them on the phone. Talk to them. If I get my spot on America's Got Talent, that would probably be the second thing I do. First thing is going to be 3-card monarch. Second thing, this fat old 69-year-old man is going to do the straitjacket that you see on Houdini Lives Again. That's the Viano presentation. And I'm going to insist that Terry put his knee in my back and pull, that Simon pushes my elbows together, that they see that that's put on correctly. Because I believe they do all that. Somebody else is here, and I break out in a sweat, and I'm not going to roll around on the floor and all that stuff. This one is going to look just like the movie Houdini. I'm going to stand there, look up, you're going to see sweat, and then all of a sudden my hand is going to pop out of the bottom of that jacket, take the restraining strap off, and throw the whole thing over my head. I think that's golden buzzer time. Finally, and you can get this on handcuffwarehouse.com, you want a pair of high security handcuffs, and you want a transport box. When you get started, you briefly talk about Houdini. You ask for the Scoutmaster to come up with him. And you're going to lock him in those high security handcuffs with the transport box. You're going to let him sit down over here and give him the keys. And tell him all he has to do is unlock the locks, and you'll give him $100, or you don't have to pay me for the show tonight. Now you make sure no one goes up and helps him. There's no way he can. None. Because you can't use the keys in that position. That's why it was created. You do the show. Let's say the first little smartass says, I can do that. Who said that? Billy? Come on up. Everybody give Billy a big round of applause. Billy, I didn't know you were an escape artist. Now you go over to your handcuff board and you take a real tough pair of handcuffs, lock Billy up. Okay, Billy, show everybody how you get out of those handcuffs. And of course, Billy can't. And you got to be careful because they're little psychologies. I can do it. I can do it. Then you lock them up. And I've had to say, Billy, I'm not the one who shouted out I could do it when I couldn't. You want the keys? Give him the keys and he can't. That doesn't work either. But every other child in that audience knows, whoa, better not say I can do that. When I did the light and heavy chest in the science show, all of the boys, I could do it. He's a wimp. I could do it. No, you can't. I've explained it, the magnet. I could do it. Okay, come up and try. And the kids yanking. You can't do it, can you? Like it or not, and my friend Michael Wald, who's here in our group, he's a PhD child psychologist that works the schools in his area. He explained this whole thing to me, that they just have to say they can, and then when they can't, they're going to break down. Well, don't say you can't. So rather than having to let every single person try, now I go into another effect. I leave Billy there to try to work this out. And then I say, you couldn't do it? Well, that's okay, Billy. It took me a long time to learn how to do it too. Normally, you're not going to hear nothing after that. If you do, so you do ropes, chains, the handcuffs, big thing with the straitjacket. By then, you look over at the scoutmaster who's still locked up. And you unlock him and you smile. Harder than it looks, isn't it? Well, I'm going to be fair. I did it to you. I'm going to let you do it to me. But you get to keep the keys. And you stick your hands out, and he puts the high security cuffs on. He puts on the transport box. He makes sure that the keyhole opening isn't here where your hands are. It's on the other side where you can't possibly get to it. They cover your hands. Do you? And you just look over. Do you have the keys to these cuffs? And he's going to say yes. Then you come up, well, then you may as well have the cuffs too. And you're free. Want to know how? Hence, I had a person, Nick, and they ran away. Would you like to know how it's done, Nick? High security. He's got the keys and he can't do it. What sneaky little thing did I do? When those are legitimately put on, there's one thing that gets done that I didn't talk about and I didn't do. They put on the high security handcuffs, they double lock them, and then they put the transport box on. Now it is impossible, but we never did that. And I very carefully, so it didn't show, on the high securities, I buffed down the teeth on the bow so it worked very smoothly. And I buffed down the teeth on the inside. And if there were more than one, then I used the epoxy so they all moved as one. And because I smoothed it out, they shim just as easy as any other cuff. They put that on, cloth comes over on your pants. You've got bobby pinned, to a string. Bottom of the string is your shim. You zip down your fly, take it out, bit, put it in, close your fly, hand it off. Destroys the audience. I call it the man who was Houdini. I make a big thing about Houdini was Jewish, his father was a rabbi, and why his act was as successful and famous as it was. Uh, that's the only thing I do in February. And now that I'm set up to start doing that again, uh, I'll get about $2,000 out of February. And as I said, Nick, I know a lot of people tell you to be a steakhouse. And no, I got to use a single store. You go in and get jewelry, and that's it. I say you got to be 7-Eleven. There are certain times of the year, certain shows are going to sell when other ones won't. Uh, that's my February show. And some in March. More. No, I'm sorry. Some in May. Occasionally some in April. End of May, first part of June, high school hypnosis shows out the rear end. And again, that's you got to be ready for that. December, all sorts of holiday parties. Remember this, Nick? I can teach the rabbi how to do this trick, and that's how he demonstrates Hanukkah. Or I can do it. If you want to be successful, those are the things you have to do. Well, buddy, that's it. I've got to go through all of my emails. Who knows? Maybe I've got an email in there. It's still going to be a big thing. I'm going to have to raise money for a plane ticket. Gina's already working on a place for me to stay. And if somebody has a car I can borrow, we'll just have to see. But for right now, again, Nick, listen. Let's say that they don't call. I didn't get it. Did I find the 3-card monarch? I did. Can I start practicing the 3-card monarch? Yeah, I am. Can I put the 3-card monarch back in my shows next to close, as I used to do? Heck yes. Watch that video of my comedy club days. You'll see the trick. I still close with Gypsy Thread and Touch of the Master's Hand, but that's kind of like an encore. So I'm already ahead of the game. The rest would be gravy. Take care, buddy. Anybody who comes here late, God bless you. I hope you get something out of it. But until next time, turn blue, scratch glass, but don't get caught. And we'll see each other soon. Bye-bye. You know, Nick, you can call me anytime. Take care. Bye-bye.